all the way home.
Taylor,
They're my grades.
Yes.
My brains.
They'll be up on Monday. I know it.
Yeah.
All right, take out your Canaanite family tree notes. Canaanite God family tree. Oh, buddy. We
Can I get
are in for some interesting combo. Huh?
Walter?
Huh?
She needs the worksheets.
You weren't here.
Where was he?
I was sick.
Just Martin. I didn't finish it because I couldn't see. It's right there.
Nuh-uh, don't sit right there.
In your way.
You sit up there.
No, I was sitting there.
You can scoot up today if you need it.
No, you won't. Okay.
Do you want to scoot up? Elizabeth?
No, I don't like you.
All right. This is where we left off. Yes? All right. Okay. Now, in the last couple classes and in previous years, I normally have people that say, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why would people believe this?" Okay? Now, it's okay. Yeah, that's partly. But wouldn't you still be like, "That's so dumb. Why would you want that?" Okay. Maybe especially after you hear a little bit more. Just to humble us, though, we said America has idols too, right? Okay. If we were to somehow time travel somebody from then to here, and we would say, "Oh, you see this sparkly phone? That's typically an idol of ours in this land, a phone." They'd be like, "This that you can step on and smash? Why?" They would look at ours and be like, "That's stupid." Okay, so I think the point is idolatry is just not very intelligent to do, but all of us have the leaning towards doing that. Remember we said what about the human heart yesterday? What was that quote? Human heart is a
Factory.
okay, it's a factory that makes what?
Shrines.
Yes, it's an idol factory. Like it's producing it constantly, and it's like, come on, put something in there. Okay, so your peers, or your football stats, or your, the next thing that you purchase, or whatever. Okay. So, anyways, this is their version. They weren't as dumb as you think. They had reasons behind why they did these things. Let's see if we can figure them out. Okay, so Baal and Asherah, what is their relation? They're married. These down here are the little gods and goddesses that they had as children. There were a lot of them. There's one verse that's interesting in the Bible that the Lord looks down on his people that have run after idols. He says, "Man, there are more gods. You guys have more gods than there are towns in Israel. There's so many." Okay, so there's a lot of them, and it's kind of confusing because this, the Mesopotamian or Canaanite in the Bible is called Canaanite. That this idolatry isn't really as well preserved as like the belief system of Greek and Roman gods and goddesses. So some of the stories are a little bit confusing, but the ones that I'm going to give you today, I'm going to do my best to be true to what we see in history, okay? So, there's some people down here that it's kind of confusing whether or not it is their child or their sibling. Okay, which brings me to the point that Baal had a daddy. Okay, Baal had a dad. His name, he had two names, just like this guy could go by Baal or Baal had a dad. This guy was called just El, or in the Bible specifically, he's called Dagon. Okay, he's the god of the. The Philistines loved Dagon. They had a big old Dagon temple. In fact, there's a story that won't be in like the part of the Bible we'll study, but there's a story in the time of Judges where the Philistines and the Israelites are fighting. The Israelites have totally deserted the things of Yahweh, their God, and yet they were like, in this battle, let's bring the Ark of the Covenant out as like our good luck charm in battle. Okay? And when they did that, the Philistines captured the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, and they brought it and they put it into Dagon's temple. Okay? Does anybody remember, have you heard that story? What happens to Dagon, the statue? It's close. The body of a fish and head and hands of a human. Okay? When,
So is it like a giant mermaid or something?
sort of, I guess. That's interesting, isn't it? In that story, the Philistines come in the next day, and the statue has fallen on its face in front of the Ark of the Covenant, which symbolizes where the Lord's presence is at, like in the tabernacle or the temple. Okay? Fell on his face, and the Philistines are like, oh, that's so strange. And they set him back up, okay? And then the next day they come back in again, and the statue has fallen, and the head and the hands and feet have fallen off, like they're cracked off. He's like broken into pieces in front of the Ark of the Lord. Okay? Just interesting. Like there's an example there talking about, oh, there's one of the gods, okay? He's the god of the sea. The Philistines are all about the sea. Okay, they were seaworthy people. Okay, so anyways, he is Baal-Hadad's daddy, but they really believe that Baal to them was stronger than his father. Okay, because I mean, think about it. When a storm comes, what does it do to the water? The water will be nice and calm. Then when the big old clouds roll out, it's like it makes these huge swells of waves, and anyway, it's just interesting. They kind of work together. Family. All right, so let's talk about a little bit of mythology here. Baal-Hadad had a sister named Anat. Yeah, before we talk about Beelzebub a little more, let's talk about Anat. Look on the front and tell me what she was the goddess of. Okay. Very good. Not just sex, she's also the goddess of war. Okay, so I'm going to draw her little symbol as like a bad love tattoo. She's like skanky sketch. In fact, the image of her that should probably come to mind is sort of like Tomb Raider. Anybody play Tomb Raider? Angelina Jolie-ish looking woman who's like gonna kill everybody she can. That's kind of like what that is. Okay, if you were a king about to go to battle, or a warrior that's in charge of dudes that's gonna go to battle, if you wanted protection or victory, you would go down to her temple. Okay, and you would pray for her to be like almost like the one that would go with her bloodlust to go murder your enemies. Okay, but at the temple, notice, what would you do? What are the practices of worshiping her? What does it say?
Male and female prostitution.
Okay, that's part of it. Okay, a lot of this stuff was tied with instant gratification. Okay, where it's like, religion that gives you sex, like anytime you want it, you just pay a little bit of money, and it helps do things with the gods, like it helps bring blessing from the gods. This is just too good to be true. Okay, it's very interesting. legend about Anat. She is the sister of Baal. Okay? The legend goes that this other guy named Mott, who was also called Baal Melkart. Okay, remember when something is a Baal, what does that word mean again? Baal. Right, he's the boss of something. Okay. Mott, or Baal Melkart, is the lord of, what do you think? Fire.
The underworld.
Underworld, yes.
Yeah, did you just say Kmart? I was like thinking, what did you say? You said Kmart.
What?
The it's Lord of the Underworld. So what's like the Greek equivalent? Hades. Okay. So the legend would go that every year Mott would come up from the underworld. He would fight with Baal. He hated Baal. He would actually drag Baal down. Sorry. No, it's really dangerous to sit up front in this unit. Anyways, he would drag Baal every year down to the underworld. He would put him in prison. Okay? Now, Baal is seen as the source of life. Okay? That's how babies come into the womb. Okay? That's how, crops grow and all of that. So if life gets put into prison, okay, it's like, man, everything's dead.
Is that like when a plague or something would come?
Well, we'll circle back to that in a second. So Anat is a good sister, okay, and she is a warrior-ess. Okay, so she would take her two weapons of choice, which are kind of weird, but this is what she picked, okay? She would take, is this called a scythe or a scythe?
A scythe.
Scythe?
Yeah, sorry.
You know what I'm talking about, like, you're like,
Wheat for wheat.
it's sort of like a swing blade, kind of
Yeah.
like that. Okay, and then the other thing she would take is like a little pickaxe.
Oh, it's a sickle. It's a sickle and a what? That's all.
Did you say it's a
Something
sickle
that
and a
Grim Reaper
pickle?
used.
Anyways, pickaxe, like, or even something you would till up the ground of your garden with, like a garden hoe.
So she's really a gardener, Loki.
Huh?
So she's really a Loki gardener.
No, she just
So she's
chooses
really
these
a
weapons, okay? She takes these two weapons and she goes down to the underworld and she hacks Mott in the face over and over and over and over with these things.
That's awesome. Wow.
Until he finally relents and he lets Baal go back to the land of the living.
I'd probably relent after one
Yes,
smack in the
it's a
face.
yearly thing and it happens around the same time every year.
If that's what you want.
Christmas.
Or winter or something.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a instilled, like, this is what we believe happens on our yearly calendar, okay? Now, why, it sounds dumb, but there is actually thought behind it, okay? Think if you're an agricultural society, okay? What happens every year that seems like life is turned to death? Winter.
I said it was winter.
No, when winter comes, there's no green. Your ground is turned rock hard. You don't have any, crops don't grow. And if they're looking around and they're like, why is this that this happens every year? Where is the one that brings life? Well, he must be captured by death. Isn't that interesting? Now, if you're a farmer, what do you have to do before crops will come out of that hard ground in the spring? You have to till up the ground, right? And they would actually, it seems like they're actually sort of, this is maybe like what a father would explain to his son as they're like tilling up the ground. Like, we're helping and not fight. We're reenacting what is going on in the underworld. We're helping to release Baal back up to the land of the living when we do this. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just their legends. Okay, so that's an example. They have these legends that would go behind what they look around and notice happening, and they would associate it with some sort of God story that's happening. The Greek mythology has very similar kind of stories. Like, you've probably heard of Pandora's box.
Yeah.
The one like this is Persephone.
I know,
She
but
actually goes down to the underworld and it's winter, and she goes back to Olympus to meet her mom and slaves
Yeah,
spring and
Demeter.
summer.
They're all trying to explain why things are the way they are and how to make them better. Okay, like Pandora's box is about like how all the evil in the world came to be. Okay. So anyways, do you remember we talked a little bit about Beelzebub? What was he the lord of again?
Flies.
Okay, he's the lord of the flies. But think about for them, what in an agricultural society, what would like a ton of flies or slash locusts or other pests coming in, what would that do to you? To destroy your food source, right? Okay. It's interesting. They also tie it with demons. Okay. And by the New Testament, like the Old Testament, it would be in the culture. It's very specific to Baal, like the Baal worship system. But by the time the Greek system is sort of rolled around, they've changed his name to Beelzebub. Okay, so Jesus, when he is casting out demons and healing people, it's interesting. They've associated all this, when Jesus starts doing all these wonders, the Pharisees, they're like, oh, he doesn't do this with God's power. You know whose power he does it by? Beelzebub. Okay, and that's when Jesus is like, what? No. Why would the devil cast out the devil? Like, isn't that just undercutting himself? Okay? And, but there's, again, a reference of, that's what they're talking about. Okay? It's a whole belief system around the Baals that's still lingering. Okay? This other one here. You know, I asked that question to my friend that lives in Egypt. I asked her, because she is at school in Cairo, at a place, like a grad school there. I was like, did they ever talk about the Egyptian gods? You know? Because, you know, like, they were huge into, there's like all this, there's an Egyptian pantheon. Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of different gods. And she said, there aren't really people that would follow it today because Islam has come in so strongly there, and they believe in one God. So that's sort of like part of the shame of their past, they would say. That's like, you know.
Not because it was all scientifically proved wrong.
Yes, they just have a different system in place, I guess. I wish we would all take a dose of that common sense in America, all of us, for our own idolatry. Because that's the thing that I want to keep circling back to you. That we aren't that much different, okay? And we'll talk about it in a second. Okay, so Molech, look on the, well, actually, never mind. The Molech was the sun god.
Wow.
What's his, Ra in Egypt, Egyptian? What would be Greek?
Apollo.
Yeah.
And same for Roman. I've only seen.
Okay, so sun god. Okay, now, Molech did not look like a little happy sunshine. That was not his statue. In fact, if you look in the front, you can see what his statue is. And we're actually going to draw. You can just do it on the same piece of paper. Just do it like up in the corner or something. I'm going to draw it nice and big though so you can see what I'm drawing. We're going to draw what it would be like to like go into one of these temples. Okay? So Moloch wasn't Happy Sunshine. What was his statue? Let's draw his statue. Okay, body of a man and head of a bull. Okay.
I think I saw this on Percy Jackson.
Isn't that thing called like a minotaur?
Yeah, I saw that in this movie. It's like
The
a
Minotaur
and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. I guess it would look minotaurish. I'm not very good at drawing things that aren't stick people, so feel free to make yours way more awesome than mine. Okay. Okay. We have. Gonna
Looks
be
like a
the
goat.
head
That
of
looks
a
like
goat.
Yeah.
I think it looks good.
I
though.
think I've seen this in
Look,
Percy
look,
Jackson.
look. If you can draw it better than this,
Miss
one.
Martin.
Okay,
See,
honestly,
nothing
I'm gonna
drawn.
try
Yeah,
it. and
I'm
it's
good.
gonna
Yeah.
be terrible.
Miss Martin. I put the horn
Oh,
behind.
shut
Wait,
up.
where do you
Okay,
where do you
anyways,
want us to write this?
What are you trying to say?
Just you can do it on the same page wherever you guys face. Okay, if you're just intense and you want to, have more space, take out another piece of paper. Okay, so check it out. Check it out. And somehow they can know this through archaeology and such things like that. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So
It kind of
in
looks like a thing
Virginia
from
Beach, my hometown.
What is that? Easton.
Mine?
That's so bad.
Show us.
No.
That made me giggle.
No.
You try to draw like an antelope or something.
Let me finish drawing this and then here are his feet. It's not very good. Okay, anyways.
Let me see.
Okay,
Here goes nothing.
now here are his thumbs. This is kind of
Oh,
hard
he's
to
like a
draw.
person.
Alright, check it out.
That's Easton.
So he's standing there like this as a statue. Okay? His hands are out like this. And his mouth is open. And he's just standing. Okay? Now, in Virginia Beach, there's a similar, not statue of this, but in size statue. Down at the beach, there's a 30-foot / 3-story statue of Neptune. Okay? And you're walking on the boardwalk and you're like, whoa. He's like ginormous with his trident and his, he's got all these sea creatures all over him. And you're like, I hope the God of heaven doesn't just take this as we're worshiping Neptune. But anyways, here, this statue was really big. Also, here's a person in comparison. Okay. Now, he's the god of the what again? The sun. Okay, so they've structured how the temple experience around what type of god he is. Interesting. This head that's the head of a bull is made of bronze. It's very large, and they've hollowed it out in the back, and they built a fire in the back of his head. Okay? Now,
So it looks like his eyes are glowing or something.
that's right. The only light in the place is coming out of his head, which,
Whoa.
for him, all you're seeing when you walk in is this set of eyes and this, mouth of, I'm on fire. Okay? You're like, ooh. Okay, so you need to, if you have an orange or something, feel free to, make it more awesome. I'm just going to draw some flamies around his eyes and his mouth, okay? But it's dark. Okay? It's dark. Okay? This is the one light, and this is a massive statue. Okay,
Wow.
now let's describe some things that go on in a day of the life of going down to the temple. Okay, let's say this is the whole town represented coming down to Moloch's house because let's say, a good reason why you might go down there, let's say there's been terrible flooding, okay? And we need Moloch to fight off Baal to stop the rain. Something like that, okay? Because, you're afraid your town's going to get washed away. That's pretty horrendous, and you're coming to Moloch for help. That's typically what's going to go on. You go to a god or a goddess for something you need specifically. Okay? You're the god of blank, so I come to you for your little area of expertise. Okay? There's not really one god that has all the power. Alright. So there would be a priest, like a head priest, that would be the almost like the mouthpiece of Baal or Moloch or whatever temple you're in. They would be like communicating for the god on what he was requiring. So you came down. These guys are pretty scary. These priests. Okay. You would notice also there were other priests there that were pretty strong and muscly, and you're like, ooh. Pretty strong and muscly priests. And you're like, wow, why are there big, strong enforcer-looking priests? Then over here in the corner, there would be something else. You have the temple band, the praise band, okay? They have drums and other, like, trumpet, horns, whatever. But whatever they have a loud capability, okay? They are making some loud music. Okay, so it's dark. There's real loud music. The only light is coming out of his eyes, and then you have this man that tells you that he's speaking for the god, okay? Now, so at first it would start something like, all right, we know that our town is soon to be lost unless Molech intervenes. We must show him how dedicated we are to bring him praise before we ask. We must praise his name. Chant his name, okay? And so they would have the people start chanting his name. So pretend you're the small town, and let's hear what it sounds like if we're all chanting his name, okay? We'd start like, Molech, 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 Molech. And then it would kind of get louder. Molech, Molech. Feel free to join me in town. Molech, 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 Molech. Okay, and then you would be kind of all dancing, and you'd be chanting. Suicide. You're not loud enough. Okay. So the priest would sort of like get you to be chanting for a long time. Now, if you're ever in choir or chorus or whatever, what can happen if you sing a long time? What can happen?
You get tired.
Get tired. What else?
Your throat hurts. You get thirsty.
Okay. What is it? What is your like choir teacher or whatever? I'm sure they warned you at a concert. If you are up there on that stage, what are they warning you about? Don't lock your knees because you could.
That happened one time. I was at something.
It does. It happens. Okay. If you're using a lot of breath to chant or sing or whatever, you can get real lightheaded. Okay. So let's just keep that in mind. Okay. Then, at a place like this, okay, it was if you really wanted to show you're dedicated. Okay. If the priest really thought you needed to show you're dedicated, he would have you take out your knife. Okay, and you would start flaying your arms. Okay?
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Okay. So, not enough. Everybody dance. Cut yourselves. Give your blood to show how serious you are to Molech, so he'll give us what we can be saved. Okay, and then you'd be like, okay. And so you are in this like mob. All of a sudden, his blood is on her, and her blood is on her, and it's like pulling at the ground, and you're all like, Molech, Molech. Okay, now what happens if you lose a lot of blood?
You're gonna die.
You die. Okay, well,
You pass out.
I was gonna say, do you get even more lightheaded? Yes. Okay.
No.
Are you thinking very clearly now? You've been chanting, and you just lost a. Yes. You're not cutting your arm off. You're just giving some blood. Okay, there's difference. There's difference. Okay, now.
Just fillet your arm.
Okay, now. The when the priest would be going around. Now, I don't doubt there's a lot of demonic stuff influencing these priests. Okay, so I'm sure they were very scary. Okay, so when he is walking around, it's like, oh, Molech is spoken. It is not enough that we have cut ourselves. It is not enough that we have praised his name. He needs human sacrifice today.
Everybody's just like, nope, I'm out.
Okay, yeah. He will show me who it was.
Like
Oh,
the
good
celebrity.
try.
I already
There
cut
ain't no
myself.
way out because remember the big muscly priests?
There's like.
They're like, They're the enforcers.
to use
They
the
keep
bathroom.
you. They keep you where you're supposed to be at. Okay.
Oh, look
So
at this.
the priest would walk around like,
How'd I see you
okay,
guys?
no, Molech does not want this one.
How do I-
No, Molech does not want this one. He wants John Phillip. Okay, and so
Well, dude, I'm sorry.
Sorry, man.
At least it's not me. I mean,
John Phillip was selected. Okay, now
I'll be right back. I just-
everybody is chanting, bleeding. They picked John Phillip. Okay, now just instantaneously, if we were all in the same small town and this was about to go on, what are you immediately probably thinking to yourself first?
I'm gonna leave before it
Hit
goes
the
off.
trace.
Okay, well, yeah, you want to get away, but you really can't. What are you like? Once someone is selected, what are you probably instantaneously thinking?
Thank God it's not me.
Yes. John, they don't care at all about you. I'm sorry. Anyways,
You are
is
so
John Phillip
devoted.
thinking? Thank God it's me.
No.
No.
Get up there, buddy.
Holy crap.
Okay.
I'm gonna die.
Oh,
You
okay.
got this.
He's probably screaming. Now, crazy.
Way to take one for the team.
Over here. This is where it's like real convenient that there's real loud music. Okay, so they just like they have one. It's so loud. You're like,
Oh, okay.
someone's screaming. You can't even hear. Okay, John Phillip is screaming, but the temple people come. They snatch him up. They tie him up, and they drag him towards the altar. Person here.
Get him.
I mean, a person.
Thanks, bud.
Okay, so this is kind of crazy, but it really did happen in history.
Wow.
Okay, check it out.
So they
There
grabbed
was,
children
like-
too, wasn't they?
Just listen. Okay, so the temple guards / other priests, they take John Phillip up the
Like throwing them all.
statue, and they would actually put John Phillip all tied up into the very large hands of Molech that are just like, remember? Okay,
And then
he
you
is like a
lay
little,
right here.
yes, don't move. I know. Okay,
He's like,
it's crazy.
Then they set him on fire.
Okay, no, just
You're
listen,
gonna
just
fall
listen.
out.
Okay, now you gotta go here in your mind historically. Okay, this is like before technology. This is before special effects. These people live in a farming community. They don't travel much. Okay, so this is pretty crazy that they had this experience, even though it was somewhat hoaxy. Okay, there were people somewhere, wherever it was, situated, where when the priest gave the signal or whatever, okay, there was a literal pulley system installed where when somebody pulled whatever lever, okay, the hands they go up and they would literally throw the person into the fire of the guy's mouth. Be burned alive. And everybody at the bottom was like, because you really want him to like the sacrifice. Is it delicious? Okay, that's what you want. You really want. Okay, and to everybody there, you're like, he's alive, sort of. He seems sort of alive. Okay, so you're afraid. You're afraid. There's a lot here. Now, we gotta edit our crowd. He's looking way too calm here. Okay. Molech. Chanting, right? Okay, they're dancing. Okay, they're dancing around, and then remember what is pooled all around?
Blood.
Blood. They are
How would
lightheaded.
they
They're not
die?
thinking straight. They're not. I mean, people give pints of blood.
No, I know. I mean, like once they like get thrown into like his
they're dead.
mouth.
They're dead.
Do they not?
I know,
realize
like,
how do they
he's
die,
already
though?
dying?
They burn alive.
There's fire in his
Oh,
mouth.
there's fire in
Yes,
his mouth.
yes.
Yeah,
That's
they
right.
roast like a little
Remember, that's the
marshmallow.
only light in the
That's
place.
real good now.
Okay.
It's actually just like his feet are just full of people.
Anyway,
They're all just in there and they're like,
so check it out,
I wonder
though.
who keeps the fire going.
The priests,
Someone out there like
they
poking it.
know. The priests they know. Okay.
It
That
is.
is a great point, Easton. Actually, okay.
Get some more leaves.
So there's like, wait a second.
We need wood.
Yes. Is he really alive?
No.
No. There are people that know. I put wood in that fire. It doesn't keep his mouth burning. You know what I'm saying? And yet they still are doing it.
I'm thinking,
Bro, imagine the smell in that place.
smells pretty
Okay.
good.
Now, listen. Actually, if you look on the front,
Toasty warm fire.
you can see. The priest actually wouldn't have picked John Philip. He wouldn't have picked him. They had a preference when the whole town was there. Moloch had a preference for a certain type of human sacrifice. What was it?
Child.
Okay, interesting. Stay looking at the front. There's great irony here. Okay, he prefers to have a baby or a child.
Wow.
Okay, so imagine the mama's like screaming.
What, did
Okay,
I make
just
them,
listen.
guys?
It's not as hard.
Now,
you know,
remember,
school.
think of it. This is like a group peer pressure system as well for the town. You know, like, yeah, you gotta go. Do you want our town to flood? It's gonna cost something. It might cost your child. It might cost your child. It's just for all of us to survive. This is what we have to do.
Way to take one for the team.
Exactly. Take one for the team. Is it so stupid? Yes. Is it what they did? Yes. Okay? Now, but there was a sick understanding. Notice though with Molech, what is he also known for besides just being the sun god? Another aspect of him, great irony here. He was known to be a protecting father. If you had him on your side, he was your protecting father. And yet, he consumed children. Okay? Now,
I'm telling you, I've seen this somewhere.
okay, well, I have seen something very similar in American culture, like almost dead on similar. No. Okay, no. Okay, now it's a little bit. It looks tamer. In fact, I saw it on the news. Like as the news was not fighting it, it was like, yep, we approve. Yeah, in America, think of something as an organization. It has great irony in its name because of what it does to children. Okay, great irony.
The
I'm sorry.
KKK.
Planned Parenthood.
Have you familiar with Planned Parenthood?
Yep.
Planned Parenthood.
Oh!
Yeah, they don't
Okay.
plan out anything.
No.
for being
You can
parents.
go and you can get birth control there. You can.
But, like, that's not their main thing.
Their main thing, though, that they are known for at least, okay, is the death of all the children you should have parented, right? Okay, I remember watching the news, you guys. It had this college girl that had gotten pregnant, and she was like, it followed her. It did an interview from every step, from when she was deciding, like, should I have an abortion? And then it jumped through, like, she met with the doctor, she was in the waiting room, and then it jumped to after the abortion was done. Okay? And, she started, and she's like, man, this is just not a good time for me to have a baby. Like, it would mess up my plans. It would mess up my plans for my future. So I just really think this is a good decision for me. She walks down. She gets set up with the doctor. She's sitting in a hospital gown. And then it passes, like, on the next clip where it picks up, and she's walking home. She's like, you know what? It's just what I had to do for right now. Okay, now, what really struck me, listen to this, okay? When she was sitting waiting in the room about to have the procedure, I was like, what is that I hear? Like, it was so crazy. It was just so ironic to me when I read about this and I had seen that. I was like, in the Planned Parenthood place, they were playing music. Okay. They actually had Christmas carols going in the background. Okay. I guess it was around December. But what do you feel inside, probably, when you hear Christmas music?
I don't know. I get annoyed too.
Okay, but think about, you're supposed to feel happy, right?
Yes.
What is she about to do?
Kill someone.
Okay,
Something.
do you see how it's like, just feel happy right now. It's okay. It'll be over soon. You go ahead, sacrifice your kid for what you want. What is her? Do you remember what I said? Could she not have a baby right now?
It wasn't the right timing.
Was it the right time? It would ruin her future. You know, it's like you just threw your kid in the fire, basically, for your future. Okay, we have very similar things in America. We just act a lot more like sophisticated about them. You know what I'm saying? I can think of another one. Okay, where do boys, especially young men, get protecting fathers, but have to go through huge amounts of physical pain in order to gain it?
Sports.
In gangs.
Oh, I said sports.
Right?
My bad.
Think about gangs. What do you have to do in order to get a, father sort of figure of a gang leader? What do you have to do? Okay, depending on the gang, people have, killed others. They have beat others. Even to get in, a lot of times, you have to be beat. Right? It's like, but do you not see the great irony there? What kind of dad are you gaining there? He just beat you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He had you beat someone else. Why would you ever do that?
Show your
Dedication. How much I really love you. How much I really want it. It's the same kind of thinking that these people had. You know, are gang meetings pretty dang scary?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I was gonna say, even if you've never been to one,